Peter, you always play psychologist with us.
I know it's pretty absurd to take this movie this seriously, but if you really put it to a microscope, I think it's actually pretty interesting.
They betrayed me, they didn't keep their promise, they tricked me and I don't care anymore. But everybody betrayed me. I'm fed up with this world.
Everybody betrayed me. I don't have a friend in the world.
This line is the crutch of the movie. Johnny feels like every single person is working to get him in a conspiracy. The room is, if you take that gut reaction of being betrayed by a friend and then believing everyone else hates you too and is working with them, and running with it for 2 hours. What happens if you try to build an entire movie around this fear? Well, first, you paint yourself as perfect, but bad things keep happening to you that are never your fault. You have a steady job that you're amazing at, but you don't get the promotion that you deserve, and that there's literally no reason why you shouldn't get it. Or the college-age kid who needs help and you're putting through school. Or, well, just listen to this speech.
He supports you, he provides for you, and darling, you can't support yourself. He's a wonderful man, and he loves you very much.
Everything you see in this movie is fully entrenched in his very biased perspective. Lisa betrays him for literally no reason. There's not a single flaw he has to cause it or to help her rationalize it, and she has to make one up. The other thing that's actually really impressive about this movie is how hateable of a villain Lisa is. She feels like Umbridge, where she's making everyone else worse off and gaining nothing. We don't understand why she's doing anything that she's doing. It's her choices that wreck everyone else's lives. She's basically just fickle and inconsiderate, never caring at all. And Mark goes along with it too because, he's a guy and that's how a guy will react. It's basically what the movie and, Tommy Wiseau is saying. Guys can't resist in the moment, but then will accuse the girl of being at fault after.
Why did you do this to me?
It's our gut reaction for how we like to think guys think, but in reality it's not fair to most of them. Yeah, Mark Reed's is cold and distant, and while they keep saying that they're friends, we really barely see this. Because in a bad situation like that, that's how you end up seeing your friends who historically you've been close to, but you're not really that close to now. And Johnny's pain, while it looks crazy to us, is really intense for him. Heck, he takes it as being as seriously dramatic as the old movies that he loves.
You're tearing me apart! You're tearing me apart, Lisa!
And when people get cheated on, or heck, even less than that, dumped, it tends to be the reaction to blame the other person in the way that this entire movie blames Lisa. Most other romantic comedies that have a guy getting dumped and cheated on, he looks sad at a distance, maybe explodes on someone once barely. But they actually don't explore it, and he gets over it pretty fast. Forgetting Sarah Marshall comes to mind as a big example of this. Though in most of these movies, there's at least given some semblance of a reason for the girl to leave them in the first place. The characters being wimps prior, and the girl wanting adventure.
We're leading different lives. It's like you're standing on the dock, and I'm in the lake.
Sarah, I swear to God, I'll jump in the lake like a merman.
Not saying it's a valid excuse to cheat, but she's not just pure evil. But that's what makes The Room more psychologically accurate than these good movies. Because the characters react to move the plot along. While in The Room, they react in the ways we interpret the people in our lives are acting when we're at our lowest points. We aren't watching it as some outside observer. Like so many amazing movies, Fight Club, Deadpool, 500 Days of Summer, Trainspotting, Birdman, we are placed solely in one character's limited perspective. This character just also happens to be the director and, how do I say this? Tommy Wiseau?
What a story, Mark.
Unlike most of these other movies, though, it doesn't once suspect that the scenes we're being shown are unreliable or subjective. Literally every detail is interpreted through the lens of Johnny. When they're waiting in line, we have to hear what the people in front of them are ordering. Why? Because if you're waiting in line, that's what you hear. When you see a random dog someone you know has, you want to pet it. Chris R is just Chris R. Why is he the only one with a last name or initial? There's no other Chris we need to differentiate him from. Because in life, sometimes everyone else calls someone something, and you don't really know much at that point, so you go along with it without question. Or like, when one of your friends gets assaulted in a drug deal gone wrong, you deal with the guy, but then you never think about it again. Wait, what? No, that's weird. Okay, moving on. When asked why not replace the spoon pictures in the frames, Tommy Wiseau says something like, well, they won't notice because that's not what they're supposed to be looking at. And that tells us everything we need to know. We are supposed to be seeing everything through his perspective. And we do see the world through his brain, and we think it's crazy. Because The Room's flaws make it play for us, the viewer, even closer to how we subjectively experience dramatic events in our lives. So seeing someone else go through that, we laugh, not only because of how little sense it makes, but also because the emotions are pretty valid given the chaos going on around him. Unlike most bad movies, it wasn't just trying to be a movie. It was trying to be one of the greatest movies ever.
Tommy was aiming for the stars. That is the underlying secret sauce that makes The Room actually a piece of brilliance.
Most bad movies where you feel like you're hating on some bland, boring, faceless thing.
Operation is over.
We're not giving up, okay?
The Room, though, you feel the director's touch on everything. You don't hate him for making the movie. You love him and you want to know everything about it.
Hi, babe.
You feel his insane level of emotion, and the disconnect between his insane level of emotion and how the movie actually is reading to us is hilarious.
What a story, Mark.
Yeah, you can say that again.
You're tearing me apart, George!